Hello and welcome to the Hawks and Masters podcast. I'm Jonathan Hawks. This is Ashley Masters. This is Adrian Albert, our resident guest, and I've been looking forward to having you on. Ryan Carty, a person I used to work with, we all used to work with, and we've been friends ever since. Welcome, Ryan.
Come on, man.
It's really good to have you on the show.
I'm looking forward to being honest.
Pleasure to have you, Big Carty, man.
Yeah, honestly, it's a blessing having you.
Yeah, still.
Today we are talking about topics which we're really excited about. We're going to be talking about growing up in South London. A big topic there. Different for all of us as well. That's what I'm looking forward to talking about.
Yes.
And following on from that, how has it made an impact in our lives? And then also, how much have we changed and adapted from growing up in South London? So, Mr. Masters, please kick it off.
I'm going to kick it off.
Kick it off.
You kicking off, homie? I'm going to kick it off. Alright, so I guess there's two angles I could take when talking about growing up in South London. I could talk about the benefits of growing up in South London, and I could talk about some of the, I wouldn't say disadvantages, because I don't feel like they're necessarily disadvantages, but I could say hard lessons or hard felt lessons growing up in South London. And I always like to start off with the positives. So I'll talk about the benefits. One thing I always say, there's certain things that growing up in the hood can teach you that you will never be able to learn anywhere else. Yeah, and this valuable information that can't be learned anywhere else. So people from outside of it will never get to understand and truly learn from the experiences that we have. But we can go to uni and learn anything that's from outside of that environment. Do you know what I'm saying? In terms of just being able to read situations, and you see, like, people talk about a woman's intuition. You get me? I feel like growing up in the hood gives you a different kind of intuition. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it allows you to read situations, it allows you to read energy. And but the only difference is when you're in the hood, it's not like a lesson. So you don't even know that you're homing these skills. You don't know you're learning these skills. You don't even know that it's skills that you possess necessarily. The only way that I was able to identify that I learned these skills was leaving that environment. So when I was out, now I'm no longer in that environment, I'm able to identify, like, bro, I'm good at this. Like, I know how to de-escalate situations. I know how to control the room without having to, like, be the loudest in the room. Do you know what I mean? I know how to influence people's behavior. I know how to influence people's decisions. I know how to install confidence because I know how to take away confidence. Because that's something that the hood teaches you. It teaches you how to take someone's confidence, you know what I mean? But it also teaches you how to give someone confidence. Because the same thing you take away when you're taking someone's confidence is the same thing you give. You take someone's power, you take their influence, you take you take their voice. Do you get me? In the hood, that's what you do, innit? In order to survive. But when you're outside of that environment, the same things that I would have been taken from, I'm giving to people. So I'm giving back that voice. I'm installing confidence. I'm making people feel comfortable. I'm making people feel important. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like, for me, that's one of the main benefits of growing up in South London, or the part of South London that I grew up in. Because like you said, for all of us, we all grew up in South London, but all of our experiences are a little bit different. Negative, I would say, because I do like to be honest about it. Because, you know, like, people who grew up in the ends, they will say, like, especially if you survived it, and you don't have much L's on your record, people be like, it was light, man, yeah, it was easy, man, get me, and give off that persona where it's like, I never struggled, there was nothing, I never had no issues, you get what I'm saying? But in reality, I didn't have much issues, yeah, but I always felt anxious. I always felt like something's gonna happen. I always felt, whether it's police, I'm always looking at my window. The door knocks, it's always who's at the door. You get what I'm saying? Even if it's no one, bro, I always feel like it can be someone at the door. It can be the police are there. Constantly paranoid, constantly anxious.
Always watching your back. Never know what the next day is gonna bring.
Because it don't even have to necessarily be your issue. It could be your brother's issue. It could be your cousin's issue. It could be your brother's issue. It could be anyone that's close enough to you to have an issue that you're dragged into. Do you get me? So that feeling is the worst thing about growing up in South London for me, was having that constant feeling of anxiety. Something might happen. Like, what's going to happen today? Do you get me? Like, so for me, that's a little bit of my experience.
So does the paranoia go away over time, or does it get worse? How are you able to cope?
I'm gonna be honest. My paranoia was
situations?
mainly about where I lived. Do you get me? Because I lived in a house where everyone knew where I lived. You get it? That my yard was that yard. You get it? So it was like, once I moved from there, my anxiety left, because it wasn't really about me being anxious for myself. When I'm outside, I'm not anxious, innit? It was just more about knowing that I've made this yard big, yeah, and it's my mum's yard, bro. My little sister's here. Do you get me? None of these lot are involved in whatever I'm involved in to make this yard big. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I always feel like if anything does happen, I gotta go outside, bro. Do you get me? Like, anything happens, and there's no avoiding anything. If something comes to this door, it's because of me and it's for me. Do you get it? So it's that feeling. Whether it's police, whether it's whatever, I know it's because of me and for me. Do you get it? So once I moved from there, and my mum moved from there, I no longer had that feeling like that. Do you get what I mean?
No, that makes sense still. I think for man, growing up on the ends, I think like there's so much beauty to it, but at the same time, there's so much there is a lot of bad stuff that is not spoken about, kind of thing. So like where you've just mentioned anxiety and stuff like that, I feel like, especially as a young person, you don't even realise that you're feeling all of that stuff. You don't actually, like, when you step out and you're, I don't know, on your way to school or whatever it might be, you're thinking to yourself, oh, I wonder what will happen if I butt my man today. Or if them man turn up at school. Or, do you know what I mean? That sort of stuff. And for me, like, I think, why should that even be normal? Do you know what I mean? Like, why is it, if you're making a journey to and from school, let's say, half an hour tops, that journey could consist of an absolute mad thing.
Yeah.
It could, innit?
And it's likely, especially school days.
Very likely.
Very likely.
Yeah.
You know, there's them 2-3 particular stops, but you know, at this stop, let's just peek up over there.
Yeah,
then on there.
That one, yeah, man. Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah. 100%.
Gotta sack yourself up, man.
This is it. And I think, to be fair, like, for me, I wouldn't say I was 100% involved in it. In terms of bedrooms, yes, like, man had people that were definitely involved. Right. And I think over time, probably more towards like year 10, year 11, and definitely college times, I was in that mindset of, okay, if something's gonna happen, then it is. It is that time.
Right.
And then I think kind of from that's then programmed, man, in a way of when I've then come out of the ends, because obviously like moving away, like living at college, uni, etc., that kind of flight or fight, those instincts that I've taken with me to them sort of places where it's far out, there ain't people there that
it's so different.
Like man from the ends, there ain't people there. But you know what it is? When people come at you with aggression or whatever, you see ends aggression. It's not the same as...
Yeah, it's levels, man. It's levels.
So when they try and come to you with that energy, and then you go and you've obviously got to protect yourself, all of a sudden it's like...
You're a monster.
Yeah. And it takes you a while to realise that you're... Not necessarily that you're... Because you're not a monster. At the end of the day, you're just protecting yourself. You're doing what you feel you need to do.
But we don't know that our behaviour is irrational to people that's outside.
Yeah.
To people outside of where we're from, that behaviour is irrational.
What people are you talking about? Because that's interesting, because you said people outside, they see it as irrational, but when do those people interfere? So you're talking about police, or you're talking about people who want to comment on who are those people?
When I say those people, I'm talking about people that have
Nothing to do.
affiliation.
But when do you ever interact with people like that? If you're from
Like you said, at university,
when you move away, move away. So like,
that's interesting.
if I don't know, say like, I remember one time I got arrested one time, innit? And basically, my brethren was doing a madness in one of the clubs that we've gone to or whatever, and he's got kicked out. Now, he got in an argument with the people in the club. And the wickedest thing is, I diffused the situation, going back to the ends type of, do you know what I mean? It ain't nothing like that. You man go do your thing, we'll do our thing. Anyway, we've left. I think there was about 6 or 7 of them, 3 of us. One of them was from Canterbury, he wasn't going to do nothing. One of them was drunk. To be fair, he was from the ends, but he was drunk. And then there's me, innit? So we've gone chicken shop afterwards, whatever. Then the boys have come to buck us. So I've said to this brother, look, either we're going to do whatever we need to do like right now, or you man just go. Like, it doesn't need to be anything like that. That's kind of defused the situation. He's still shouting at us lot, like getting further and further into the shop. This guy ain't on anything, man. Whatever. Taking our food, gone round the corner now. So them man have come round the corner now, and they've seen us again and amping up whatever. So this is where like we go into the aggression side of things. So they're on that. There's 6 of them. Not gonna lie, man's low-key intimidated. 6 people, 1 man.
Right.
What's the odds? Like, what's really gonna happen? So it's that fight or flight thing. Do I start to be shook, or am I gonna try and protect myself and my bedrooms? Protect. So immediately, and to be fair, I think there is a part of it where, like, if I was on the ends, I'm probably cutting. I'm not gonna lie. There's a part of it because this was in Maidstone. So them man, I know that they're not really, do you know what I mean, compared to what it could be on the ends. So yeah, I've obviously amped up, but again, that level of aggression has caused people to start coming out of shops, out of flats.
They could hear you, like,
bro. I'm amped. I'm amped.
6 man, I know.
Yeah, man. I'm amped.
I know what you're on.
Yeah.
I know it.
Because I'm thinking, bro, if I don't do this,
I've got.
I'm mash up.
You have to create some space.
Yeah, I'm mash up.
Space, man.
But then they've obviously rang feds. A couple minutes later, bam, done.
Bruv, maybe that's the best thing that could have happened, bro.
Yeah. In that situation, 100%.
It sounds like it.
100%.
Any further would have been mad.
Yeah. And I think that what taught me how to do that was growing up on the ends.
Yeah.
Because for me, and especially that, like, my mum, sweet woman. Like, my dad, he's got family that's on madness, but he ain't that way whatsoever. So in terms of my upbringing, I haven't learned that in the family home. A lot of that aggression or whatever, I learned that outside of the house.
100%.
Seeing other people do madness, where it's like, okay, if you don't want to get mash up, then you've got to, do you know what I mean?
Prepared to bash up something.
Yeah, 100%. You have to. So, yeah, that was obviously like one little thing in itself. But I think those skills that you learn, like, from the ends, it can either take you one way or the other way. In that situation, kind of saved, man. But at the same time, it's definitely, it's a mad one, really, because how do you even, it's a good thing, but a bad thing at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
You know how you judge it? You judge it by what's happened in hindsight. Did it save you? Yes, it did.
Yeah.
You get it? So that's how you judge it. You get me? Man can always say, I don't know if it... But if it has benefited you, it benefits you. You know what I mean?
Adrian, growing up in South London, what was it like?
Boy, for me, I ain't got no extravagant story like you, man. Like, what?
Is it extravagant?
Oh, well.
There's a...
Because
there's a glamour about growing up from the ends.
There actually is.
I didn't grow up in the
There
ends.
actually is.
Now, you seem in the middle of...
No, for me, I was kind of more just the middle guy, like just And people thought I was cool, people thought I was a neat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just that guy, like, I got moved to. I could say I've probably been robbed once in my life. And it was because someone pickpocketed me. Do you know what I mean? The time I got robbed, I didn't have nothing on me. So it benefited me, not them. Which got me a bang in the face and I rushed. But, you keep moving. And I don't know, like, just, I feel like it coming back to growing up and the ends, it's the people you hang around with. Like, I've seen friends that I used to chill with, bro. We used to play Pokemon back in the day, battling, training. Then 1 minute he's kicked out of school, and bro, they've just changed a whole different like lifestyle, shotting, moving food all the time. I'm hearing about that. He's just like changed so much, like, and then we just kind of distanced ourselves from that kind of energy at the time, and then we just kind of kept doing our own thing, man. Like back in my day, like, it was just no phones, like riding our bikes all around the ends, no problems. Especially so, like, I lived in Sydney. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just like always come up there. Like, yeah, we had there was a few beefs back then. Like people were coming, like, and things like that. And it was just like, raw, mad. I mean, I'm not involved in that, but you know, but you'd see it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'd actually see it, like, and it'll be like, it'll come to like a normal day playing football, man, them pulling up. You don't know where they're from. You hear a gunshot, poof, that's it, done, gone. Like 10 toes, man. Like that's just, I'm not trying to get involved in that. Like, not at all. Like, I'm a good Jew. I'm a good Jew, bro. Like, yeah, I'm saying, bro. Like, there's just
nothing wrong with saying.
no. That's what I'm saying. I'm happy with that. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy. I've met the people I've met, and the people I've met to make me the person I am today. Because you're right. It's the people you're out on the roads that you look and you see it, and you pick it up, and you pick up certain things that and think, oh, right, yeah, like, I could do that. My man's doing that. I could do that, bro. Like, it's just. Sometimes it don't work that way. It just doesn't work that way at all, bro. Like, it's just, like, it was just, we were at that time in our lives where we were just all just being ourselves, like picking up different things from different people, like things you learn, like that's molded you into the person that you are today. And I think that people shouldn't take that for granted, because, like I said, like changing from like Southeast London to Southampton, and when you're hearing that you're getting moved to, it's like no disrespect to Southampton, but I didn't take it seriously.
They're not on it as much as you.
It just you're not on it, like, compared to
exactly. So when you was in the end, you felt like a good Jew, but when you was in Southampton, you felt like a bad boy.
I'm not gonna try to say I'm a bad boy, but obviously, like, it was just like I'm doing what I wanted in it, and no one ain't gonna like. Intimidate me and try to do different thing. Like, most times it was people intimidated by me, which I didn't get, because as someone who's a nice guy, yeah, I'm a big, obviously guy, obviously big shoulders and all this and that. Love that. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm joking. Yeah, like, you just
be the gangster and stuff.
Hey, cut that. No.
Double A.
Relatively. Around when AA is about you.
That was not me. That was not me.
Empty in my pockets.
It just came from South London. Literally, it came from things like, I'm doing a late night gym session, coming back, you know, someone will see me, and then, like, you can just tell they're intimidated, and they actually just go out of the way to cross the road, even though they are just right there. Like, and it's just, like, you've not even, like, assessed the whole situation. Like, you just judge me based on what I look like.
And that's mad, because people will assume he's from South London, so he's the same, and we've all got the same experiences. He's a gang member. That's what
they don't know. South London.
And this is why it's important to talk about our experiences. Because Because they don't understand. Like you said, man, I was playing Pokemon card. You know that?
I was a need.
That's not even a need, bro.
No.
You're just living your life.
No,
And that's it. That's what I'm trying to say from that. That's genuinely what I'm trying to say. Bro.
He lived as a child when he was a child.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
You know, like some kids don't
Which
get
I
to
know
be
not
kids.
not many man them got that experience, which I feel bad for.
No, don't feel bad for it because man had the option.
Yeah, some
Niggas
man
just
is-
wanted to be
lot
big
of man-
before their
yeah,
time.
lot of
Their
man-
time,
Yeah?
yeah.
And some man had to be big before their time because of their situation. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But a lot of man wanted to be big and they didn't have to be.
Nah,
You know what I'm
Can I
saying?
just say though, like the way you're talking about, like say you two growing up in South London, is there's a lot of people who are going to love what you're saying, but I feel for the wrong reasons. They're going to say, "Oh yeah, it was really cool." But exactly what I love about what you're saying is that this was my experience and this is how we reflect on it. This is why I look at you now. Do you know what I mean? I came from that, and what I'm loving is that the characters as well that you had to deal with in way where your friends. There's a strength of character there because of the upbringing, because of the context of the situation. And it's interesting how, like me going to the school I did, there'd be people. Everyone would always brag about knowing like the baddest gangster, or you know, like going up to uni in Durham, and like I would, to try and impress some women, I'd literally be like, yeah, I'm the big shot, do you know what I mean? And they'd believe me. All I know is like, I can get away with it, it's Durham. It's like, no, I got to Durham as well. I stopped at 21, but it's just so interesting how there's such a appeal about...
How did you do the roadman?
The roadman life.
So the roadman voice. I need to see if I can believe he's a shot. Like, you're a shot.
I just lowered my voice. Yeah, you got that, yeah.
That wasn't terrible.
I didn't mean it. I can do the voice, but yeah.
That wasn't terrible. You should listen to Bear Drill.
I only like Central C and Fizzer. But like M24 as well, he did one good song. No, but like, there is a glamour about growing up in South East London. And it's that ends, up in the ends, I'm a roadman. But you guys actually live that, and you're not glamorising it. You're not bragging about it.
You know, there's absolutely nothing fun about it, bro. I mean, it's fun when you're with the man and they're outside and nothing. You get me?
Yeah,
And
but when
something I go out,
I'm not.
it's not fun, bro.
Yeah, man.
It's not fun. I should have stayed home. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. I think.
I'd rather chill with my sister, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Bro. Like it's mad. Like especially where man's got like family that have really like been from it and whatever. I think seeing them, man, and how the roads has affected them, especially now that man's older and I can connect with them a lot more. Because this is the other thing about like my upbringing. I think some of my family tried to keep me away from certain man.
Yeah.
So with that, now that I'm able to reconnect with them, man, because if I'd grown up around where like my family was from,
you would have been more influenced.
Yeah, man. Who knows what life would have...
So that has made an impact on your life, the decisions that you're...
Massively. Like, knowing the type of people that, like, certain family members were chilling around or, like, affiliated with or, like, gangs or, like, whatever. Because really and truly, when I deep it now, I think I also understand why I used to an extent, get into problems in the area that, like, I grew up in. Because... I didn't have my family around me as such. Even though it was like, half an hour, 45 minutes up the road, I didn't have my family around me as such.
Don't you think, because obviously, in hindsight, you could say it was kind of pointless because you mess with your cousins now anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand how important it is for boys to connect with their
100%.
male cousins, bro. Even if it's just to know them. Even if you don't have to even be with them every day or chill with them. It's important for you to know them. You get me? I'm not going to lie, to contrast in what you're saying, I was probably the cousin that they wanted to keep, don't go around Ash. I was probably that cousin that they wanted to keep away from. Do you get me? Because of how it looked. But I'm placed in the middle of this place and I've got to make the best of it. You get it? I'm in the worst environment where you lot can't protect me. And I can't even really protect you lot. But I've got to make it look like I can, and I've got to make it feel like I can. So in reality, I can. Do you get what I'm trying to say? They don't get that. And look, my family members might have felt like, don't let the kid, I don't want them chilling around him, I don't want chilling around him. But the reality is, they're boys, when something happens, bruv, it's me that's got to pull up.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yes. On that note,
I just wanted to ask you quickly.
go on.
So, how did you feel when it was clear that don't hang around Ashley because did you feel, when you were young? Well, you must have felt like
I felt.
like you're a bad influence.
Honestly, yeah, I understood why.
Fair enough.
But on the second thought, obviously I'm me, so I did feel some type of way. But my thing was just like, I don't care because you're gonna need me before I need you.
Yeah, you.
get me?
Yeah.
One of them ones.
Raymond Reddington does the same, but that's another show.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hearing like similar, well, off the back of that question, like hearing again like my family's viewpoint from like how their upbringing was and why they were the cousin to stay away from, hearing all of that as well, it's kind of like, bro, like you were going through absolute madness. So I get why you are the way that you are.
Right. And
then to have it put on top of you that you're now the problem as well, when really and truly, like, you're born into whatever you're born into. Do you know what I mean? I'm a firm believer that every kid is born just innocent, innit?
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? And then obviously whatever happens and you get influenced by that. That's what I believe. So seeing the aftermath and obviously hearing my family's stories now as to, right, like this, that and that happened and I've only been able to connect with you and man's long into my 30s now. Like this sort of stuff, I think to myself, right, I used to hear all sorts of madness about you. And what, nobody could like check in for you or help you out or, do you know what I mean? But you're the problem somehow.
But this is the thing about the outside, if you're outside of the roads, this road thing is so illogical. It doesn't make sense. It's like, what are you thinking? No one from the outside who has no ties to the roads will understand. Why you talk like that? Why do you move like that? Why do you act like that? Why do you react like that? Like, they don't understand it. They look at you like you're sick, bro.
No, you got to adapt. Adapt and overcome, man. That's all you can do, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I had to learn.
Yeah.
Like, me chatting to certain man, like how, like, you, man, this is how I normally chat, like, do you know what I mean, or at work, you know what I'm saying, like when you're working, like, you got to change it up. Like,
Yeah, of course.
It's tough,
It's just,
of course.
yeah, it's tough.
But you know what it is? When you're from the ends, it's like you could say change it up, yeah. But it's like it took so long for me to be able to be me comfortably, for me to try to be someone else now as well. Do you get
Is
what
that
I'm
because
saying?
you were being accepted by more people?
It's because once you're outside of the ends, because it's easy to be accepted in your environment. Yeah. But to try to be, it's not even easy to be accepted in your environment. In fact, it's very difficult to be accepted in your environment, and it takes a lot of work. You have to know how to be accepted in order to be accepted. Yeah. Once you mastered that, now you got to basically relearn everything you learned, because the way you behave, that's accepted, that's made you survive, is not acceptable outside of your environment. So now I have to try to learn how to be somewhere else, somebody else. When it took me so long just to learn how to be this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's true still.
Obviously, it's something that we do, innit? Because we had to. But people don't understand that it's not an easy transition, bro. It's actually relearning how to behave, how to react, how to feel about things. How, like when someone's talking down to you, how to understand, okay, they're not threatening my life. Yeah, because every time someone talks down to you or touches your pockets or does something, they're threatening your life. They could take your things, they could stab you, so it's a different mentality. You ain't touching my pockets, you ain't talking down to you. You're gonna check, man, before they can get close enough to you to hurt you. So as soon as man starts screwing you, you're on it. As soon as man start talking to you harsh, you're on it. As soon as man start looking at you funny, you're on it. Well, go on, bro. If you start feeling funny energy, you're like, well, you good, bro. Straight away, because man, I'm not going to wait for you to be able to make me a victim. But when you transition, not every time someone looks at you, they're trying to threaten you. Not every time someone shouts at you, they're trying to threaten you. You have to reprogram your mind to say, no, that's not a threat.
Right.
It's just them expressing themselves.
Bro.
Do you get what I mean?
One of the maddest things is like being off the ends, people say good morning to you.
Yeah.
You don't know. Bro, do you know how mad that is?
I ain't gonna lie, people say good morning to me in my state now, bro.
Man, it's
They're like
mad.
people though, they're like nice.
No,
They say good morning to me now. That's
It's mad. Like the first time So what? I would have moved to Tonbridge was the first place I moved to, and I would have been like 18, 19 them times, and I think that was the first time. No, tell a lie. I moved to like the border of Kent and South London, like family, and then I moved to Tonbridge like on my own after that. So I think Tonbridge was probably the first time where man's had people say good morning and stuff. Yeah. And but before that, I don't know, like conversation or whatever, they're watching you and you're thinking, what, like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what? I haven't done anything wrong. Because more time it was older people, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because it was a little village that, like,
exactly.
where our college was situated, where we stayed. It was in a little village, innit? Older people, more time, and people are just saying good morning.
Good morning.
And I'm just thinking, bro, this is mad. Like, I don't get it. I don't.
You think there's something wrong with them?
Yeah. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you talking? I don't know you. I don't know you.
No,
yeah, it's true, bro. It's mad.
Did you say good morning?
Yeah.
Like good morning to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but in London they're used to just walking past people. Everyone's just getting through.
Bro.
So when you're like that, you're like thinking, wow, the community is different here.
But then
like, people are more intrusive in ways, though.
100%. And do you know what it is? Like when you take it to a Mandem level, if you and Mandem clock eyes, and it's wherever it is, you feel like something is gonna happen. Right. Or why is man treating me like that? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
but I don't think it's very endsy. When you was out at the end and you saw Mandem, it's love. It is that. That's the contrast, you know.
Yeah, it is. It's true. But I think like at a younger age, obviously we're still doing the reprogramming and now it's like it is that it's love like every time. Do you know what I mean? Because we are older and we're mature and do you know what I mean? Show love, but them times it's who's my man? Like what? Especially if you're going to certain places or like whatever. If it's a club or a party or like whatever.
God.
Yeah, you man know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
who's it?
Yeah. But in reality, like, why should it be like that?
Yeah. Let me just quickly stop to talk to our sponsors. Guys, make sure you're liking and commenting and share your opinion below. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe now. We're going to kind of transition to our second topic. I feel like we've already kind of transitioned there because a good friend of mine basically said to me, let's try to keep the topic similar because you guys talk so deep that sometimes when we switch topics, it kind of throws us off. So I appreciate you, my brother. Yeah, you know who you are. You get me? So we kind of, we followed what you said, like our big Carty's here. So that's how we're doing it. So the next topic, which we kind of covered is, how has it made an impact in your life? I think we kind of spoken about that, but I think we'll be a bit more specific and intentional. So, Jono, I think it's your time to kind of talk about the impact that growing up in South London, the posh side of South London, has had an impact.
In your opinion, and in a way it was posh. So I'm just going to make clear that I grew up I was born in Brixton.
Wait, this
I moved, I got, my mum took me out of that. So with me, it was a case of my mum said, "Listen, I'm worried." She always made clear that she saw that I had a lot of energy, and she said, I am very concerned that this little boy, this 10-year-old, is going to be a bit of a psycho." That's what she said. She was worried that he's going to be trouble. So she said, "I'm going to try and get you into a very good school." So I got into Dulwich College.
Imagine if you went Dunraven or you went...
St Dunstan's.
I got into Dunraven.
Yeah.
Dunraven,
he would have been
a good
tug, you know?
Yeah. She saw that I learned the violin. I learned the violin when I was 8, right? And she was like, "Look, I'm just going to try and get you to focus on something. Because if you start getting involved with people out there, like some family or some of her friends' sons," and it was all just like, she was worried that I was going to be involved. And I wouldn't be surprised if I was, because it was similar to her. We moved to West Norwood, we're in the council block, and she was just like, I don't want him to get, she was just worried that I was going to get too mad. She just thought I was too crazy. Similar to how I am now, but just less trouble, do you know what I mean? Less crime. So it was really, this is all true.
You play music for crime. The violin, take the knife, give the violin.
Nuts,
Yeah.
by the way.
Like, he is shanking the hell out of him.
That's it. That energy was channeled into music, and I just love music from then. And I remember being young thinking, but I'm in South London and I've got this violin on me, and for me, do you know what? I thought, no one's taking my fucking violin as well. I remember saying that, like, I actually
I don't think no one wanted it, you know.
I don't care.
I don't know. I think it was safe for you. You wouldn't have grabbed that. Nah, I think you can keep that. Leave him.
Do you know what's interesting?
Leave him.
When people
It's
realise...
the violin you, leave him.
When people realise the value of violin...
No, because it's the violin you, because you might be able to touch
They
it.
didn't know.
And play a tune, cuz. Play a tune.
Exactly.
And play a tune, cuz. No, hip hop, cuz.
They just thought it was that. But when people started to realise that these violins cost thousands of pounds, that's when they started to think, okay. So I remember I had to be very defensive sometimes, but it was interesting thinking, this is so different, but I actually love this. I just love music. Like, I would play football and stuff like that, but I just knew that this is what I'm going to do, and I just had to I had to be ready for the banter and the piss taking and little, and it was interesting, being from South East London, you learn that, but in a different way. I'm not from the ends, but I know I had to be confident.
Yeah.
And that is what I love about South London, and we'll talk about the confidence of going anywhere else. We would go to Bognor Regis and I'd be like, I'm the fucking man. You lot talk to me. Because I just from where I came from, I felt you lot had nothing. Which is really arrogant, do you know what I mean? And I apologise to anybody where I was just too cocky anywhere else.
Arrogant piece of shit.
No.
You've done his college dust.
I know.
Did it to all of us.
Peasants.
We said peasants. Literally. Plebs.
I bet they eat beans from a tin.
But they're not plebs because we want your likes and followers and subscribers, and we've matured out of this. But I tell you what, I swear, I remember when being young, I was very, very defensive. Very defensive. So my impact is that I feel very grateful that, because another thing, growing up, I did know people who were from the ends, believe it or not. I did know, people who were, and still know some of them now. And it's, the difference in personalities from South London is magical. But, you get, I can't even say that, the posh girl who went to Jags, who, just, she knows a roadman who's selling a...
So we got left with it. We didn't sell nothing.
But it's just the characters I wanted to make, it's a homage to the personalities and the different people from all over that I love about South London. I'm very proud that I grew up as well. So my impact is just support. You go to Durham or we'd go to Newcastle. We talk separately how we would you'd identify someone from London. You just have it in you. You take the South
dress
London,
sense, the way you
take stuff out of South London,
carry yourself.
South London out. This is what, and it comes from the ends, it comes from the private school, it comes from the mixing.
Anyway,
South London isn't just a hood.
No, it's not. There's a grammar there. There's a grammar back Dulwich College. It's like private schools. It's everything.
But it's funny though, because even you were saying about being posh at school. But then when your school goes to other schools, or goes to other schools,
you lot were the gangsters?
To Harrow, we were
exactly.
They had tails.
It's like, look, bro, these are the gangster kids. This is South London. That's hilarious. You know what I'm saying? You're like going to Harrow, they're getting scared. They're like, Dulwich College is here.
I remember Tunbridge School. Tunbridge School were amazing at rugby. They were tough. That was a lot of I'd imagine hard-working, maybe lower-class white people generally, or not predominantly white people, but a lot of Indian and some African and some less.
I love
but more.
He punished himself trying to be politically correct.
Yeah, correct.
Because he was trying to be politically correct and he didn't want to say white people. And then he stumbled. He said there was the Indian people. Oh shit, if I say Indian, I've got to say Chinese people. If I got to say Chinese, I've got to say
then I've got to do the next one.
I don't know any other race of people.
I'll tell you what, no, but
Siberian people! Siberians!
I'll tell you what, so playing rugby against Harrow, right? It'd be second team, there'd be one Indian person on the team. Like they're all white.
Oh,
So
now
it'd be
you
so
don't
white.
care.
In the first team, there was like 2 black guys and they're both on the wing.
I don't know.
That's true. Like generally, every school would be like, right,
fast
like,
ones, the
yeah,
fast
fast
ones,
ones.
man.
Yeah, I mean,
Put them on the wing.
Yeah, let them run.
Literally.
They love eating wings. They can run faster.
very tall like that as well. Yeah. They love eating wings.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so my impact is just all the. I've fed off so many different characters, including you lot, throughout my whole life, and I just love people from South London who bring that confidence and bring good vibes and aren't too negative or too violent or try and intimidate people, try and make people victims. I love those people who have the character and have survived in whatever context, but from South London. The world knows about South London.
Like, 9 times out of 10, who would you know to meet someone like Jonathan, bruv? Like, an amazing person like him from...
That's because it's South London.
East
London. This
South London.
There's actually individuals here, like, honestly, like,
Yes.
you can map them out, but it's just that there's always those little, I'm going to call them factions, you know what I'm saying,
Yes.
like, roadman, you know what I'm saying, like, skater people, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
like,
goths.
goths,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean, like, if they're still goths, I ain't seen them goths recently,
Yeah.
but, do you know what I mean, like, and it's always, I feel like, when you're growing up, it's like certain men, they want to try and fit into those kind of categories, you know what I mean? And not 9 times out of 10, it shouldn't be like that. You should just be you growing up. Like, don't let
Be who
a
you
group
are.
of people just
Yeah.
change who you are.
That's
Like,
what people
I
love.
don't know, like, it's,
Do you know what?
I just
though?
feel like,
You see, like on the ends, like growing up in a place like South London, I feel like these kinds of places are the only places you can, like, one person will be able to name, say, a professional sportsman, someone that's gone uni multiple times, someone that's become successful in their career, someone that's been, I guess it ties in with uni, but like educationally, someone that's been successful. And then if you flip it on its head, someone that's maybe, I don't know, in jail for whatever, someone that's passed away from the road life.
Yeah.
no, it's true, certain situations, yeah.
People that have been affiliated or been involved in man. I feel like
There's a
the amount of experiences, exposure, people that you meet through growing up in a place like this, because we was kind of saying it like earlier, there are other pockets like South London, you know what I mean?
of course.
So you've got your long sides, your Moss sides, you got your places in Nottingham, you got bare places all over the country, but
Obviously, west and north and east and the other parts of London as well.
Yeah.
Big up on them.
yeah, the other bits.
It's not the UK.
There's different communities.
The other degree, but at the same time, they're small pockets
Yes.
within their own right. Do you know what I mean? So when you do go out of London for whatever it is, even if it's just for one night, naturally you gravitate towards one type of person. Do you know what I mean? So when man's like moved away or whatever, say like when I was in Bolton, for example, like at uni.
Well, you're going everywhere, isn't it?
Bro, it's mad still. It's mad. And like being around like the Manny Dons more so, naturally you gravitate towards that because again, you're from this place. Do you know what I mean? So and generally you revert to type, innit? When you're one of a few in a certain place, you'll then look around, okay.
And find the familiarity.
Yeah, how do I survive? Do you know what I mean? And then naturally, one person, it might be they listen to the same music. Do you know what I mean? Or we can relate with the stories.
Yeah.
Then before you know it, amongst the thousands, you've got your little batch of 10. But do you know what the coolest thing is? That batch of 10 controls the team. Do you know what I mean?
They're the strong characters.
Every time, man. When you cut through somewhere, or even if like whatever it might be, people know when you're about. Do you know what I mean? And they know where you're from as well.
It's true, it's beautiful, man.
It's
beautiful.
mad still.
How to describe it? It's like a spectrum. Yeah. Just one end being completely rolled, super gangster, and the other being like super successful, smart, educated. Where we're from, we have everything in between.
Yeah.
Literally, from that end all the way to that end, like it's all there. Do you get me? So that's what I'm saying about the array of knowledge. We're able to go all the way to that spectrum, but you can't go that way.
That way, yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is the beauty of starting where we started, bro.
Yeah.
The only way is up for us, bro.
Facts.
We can't. Do you know what I'm saying? We can only do better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but but they can't go back and learn what we had to learn in order to get where we're
Some
going to go.
people start from all the way over here.
All right. So
Some people do.
that's the impact I feel like it's really had. It's allowed us to be able to look and say, up is the only direction for us, cause there's nothing down there. Let's go. Do you get what I'm saying? And not look back. This is why, like, even doing this, it was essential. It was essential for me to have the correct people, the correct energy, the people with the correct like mindset in order to do it. Because some things don't seem real when it's just in your little corner. It doesn't seem real. Doesn't seem doable. When there's other people from other walks of life that think different, that do different things, that are experts in their own field,
That's what you
it
want.
makes it real. You get me? It adds value to it. It's not like imposter syndrome. Like, if you don't believe me, you believe him.
Yeah, man.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because you know, coming from where I come from, I'm always gonna feel like people might feel like I'm being dishonest, or that I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's a real thing still.
So that's why man got journal. Y'all don't believe me, y'all don't believe him. You know what I'm saying?
No, but we're all believable in our own way. And it's the right people who really want to actually listen to us in our own ways and value us. And you know, and the support so far has been so great, because I don't engage or fuck with people who aren't genuine.
Yeah, facts.
You know, and I've met roadmen who are just not genuine. And I'm not a roadman, and it's like,
A lot of
I don't
roadmen
have
are
the
not
time.
genuine.
And they don't get nothing. They don't get no attention, or they don't. But if you're real, it doesn't matter where you come from. That's what the celebration of South London is about.
All
And
right.
look at you, you're so genuine, Adrian, and you love your Pokemon, and you love your art and the illustration and all that stuff. You're a genuine guy. It's not like we thought, oh, that's uncool, so therefore we're not going to check. That's people who try to be bullies or.
Why don't you hide that?
Yeah, exactly. You're presenting your thing in your own way, and that's what I love. That's what I love about you, Carty, and you, Ashley, and about myself, and all of our friends. Look at us working together. There's like 15 of us or whatever who just love, because we're all different.
We've all come from different.
Yeah, so we
backgrounds,
respect
but
each other. We listen to each other, like Ashley said.
This was the right moment in time in our life to meet.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, 100%.
We're all good.
When we used to
We've
step
all got
out and do
individual.
that Thursday's New Friday.
Yeah.
You don't know the energy was stupendous,
go and
bro.
eat every Thursday.
Every week, man, just causing a ruckus.
Remember when
That's what man used to look forward to.
Yes,
I'm saying that.
And now we come here and cause a ruckus. This is what I'm saying. We have to keep
losing
ruckus, bro.
That guy said
Makes
he
it
made my
impact,
day
bro.
seeing you lot interact with each
Come
other.
on.
That guy said that. Even though it was in the worst restaurant ever, Orange Buffalo.
That was the Dennis kick, but let's not even go back over that.
I just wanted to shout out like where you don't go.
Don't shout them out, bro. They ain't paying us. How much have you changed and adapted? So we're going to quickly move on because we're running out of time, as we always do, because we're having so much fun and we're enjoying this conversation so much. Yeah, but we've got to stick to the plan. Got to plan. Organisation. Yeah, they try to say black man ain't organised.
Yeah, we are.
You know what I'm saying? Can we be organised?
As early as possible. Just trying to
Alright, cool. So, how much have you changed and adapted? I'm going to start off with Age, because I feel like he's spoken the least. So, Age, tell me how much have you...
What are you talking about?
Listen, don't start with me because you're in the gym today, bro. Yeah? Don't do that. Yeah?
I've been chatting, bro.
How much... No, someone's got to start. You know what I'm saying?
Joking. Nah, what? Oh, what? It's up, what?
I was like, how much have you changed and adapted? Because obviously for you, it probably would be more about like the things that have built you. Because I feel like... I know you're a confident man now. So all the... You get what I'm saying?
I was not before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how much have you changed?
I've been knocked down so many times, bro. Again, saying I couldn't beat this, I couldn't beat that, and there's times you have to just keep going. Like even in school, like I got roasted all the time. Like obviously I got the names everyone called, fat, lick. Do you know what I mean? I got called the Black Buddha. You know what I'm saying, bro?
You should have ran with that one though, I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's quite cool.
It's the Buddha. No, boy. Nah, honestly, you know what I'm saying, bro? Like you see it and you just kind of like, and then Joe was that turned it around for me was like I was so unconfident, like Do you know what I mean? Like, strict household, even up till I was 18. Like, imagine my mum tried to tell me, I'm going out, my friends invited me out, first time at 18. Oh, yeah, you can go, but your dad's going to go with you and watch you to see how you're doing. I'm like, what? Imagine I'm 18, you know, 18.
Yeah, that's great.
But it's, do you know what? Like, it's not,
not cool when
can't
you're
argue with Marge at the end of the day, innit? Like, this is how it
As
is.
well, as well.
No, I never went out. I just, that put me off going out until I moved to uni. When I moved to uni, that's when things started to.
You didn't go out until like after 18. Literally.
I go to pubs and that, but that was local area. And like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I went out when I was 15. That's quite interesting. I thought you must have gone out when you were young.
it was
as well.
a strict.
You know? I had a strict, like,
It was a
strict
strict
household as well,
That's
man.
interesting.
Once the street lights were off, like, and
I go to house parties.
on my biggest
on me,
stage,
bro.
yeah,
My mum
like,
was on me, bro. Definitely. 'Cause she knew what it was really like, and she knew what I was really like, so she was on me.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
16, 15, 16, well, I
Yeah,
started,
that was around my age. Yeah, it was like house
More
parties
16
and
actually,
going
I
out
can't even
clubbing.
say 15. 16, definitely.
Yeah.
After that summer.
Yeah, same.
yeah, I don't know,
It was
like,
outside, bro.
yeah, like just, and then it just, I felt kind of restricted. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it just felt like I wasn't seeing enough of the world, you know. And that's always been my dream, you know. I want to travel everywhere, like if I could. Do you know what I mean? And moving to university, which was, for me personally, it was a big step for me. Like, moving into that first room, you're out of your comfort zone. Like, you don't know who's moved in and not like that. I'm not gonna lie, first few hours, like, locked my door, playing Xbox for a good couple of hours. And that was what I was used to at home. That's what I used to do at home. And when, I think it was like 3 hours after, I think finally got a phone call from my brethren that, yeah, I just touched down, I'm here.
That's nice.
Seeing him, and then my other boy just moved down, and then walking around the town and all that. I think it just kind of,
You got your confidence back.
the confidence kind of just started. I don't know. It wasn't until I started going out. That was when,
Yeah,
like,
that's-
fresh
the
as
alcohol
week.
starts
Fresh as week.
I'm kind of
Listen, listen lectures.
I'm somebody.
This is why I always tell the students, like, university is a great experience for you. Like, I even if you don't even like
Go to events.
go to all the events, like, you'll meet new people, like, you meet interesting people that you never thought you'd meet on the ends, like. and
No,
it's
but to
just-
be fair, even doing it, because I did uni in South Bank, which is in the ends, but the people.
you still meet interesting people, bro.
None of them were from the ends. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, the kind of people I met, like, it was just amazing. Bro. People
I
from
think,
small little villages.
I think what was for me was taking that big step to move 2 hours away from my family, which is what. Yeah, and then that first month just living there, obviously, I think I went back for the weekend. Obviously, it was Comic-Con weekend. Obviously, like, I had to go to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a little dress up at night. You know what I'm saying? Right, man, when
Makes
there's
sense.
Naruto, you know what I'm saying? Jutsu.
Who did you go as?
Naruto, bro.
Naruto?
Bro.
Yeah, you're cold for that. I respect it.
What's Naruto?
Get out of there, man.
Yeah, if you don't know, if you're not doing that, it's really not time.
Yeah, I'm not the only one.
Really don't
I'm not the only one who doesn't know where it is.
Sorry, no, you are the only one who doesn't know where it is.
No, our subscribers and listen.
I'm sure. Write in the
Watch
comments if you know what Naruto
Please
is.
don't even know
And if you
Naruto
don't,
is.
write Jono's a joke man in the comments.
For real.
Thank you.
Is that the one where they read backwards?
Oh my
Just write Jono's a joke man.
Oh my days.
Anyway,
I need to teach.
we're running out of time,
Yeah,
so we gotta keep it on
cool.
track.
I'm gonna keep it brief, but yeah, like, I think just that whole aspect of my gaining that independence I needed, bruv. Like, I think that's what really boosted my confidence even more. Like, just little things like, do you know what I mean? Like, just like washing clothes and this like that. I'm not glad I didn't, like, Marge did all of that for me. Like, you know what I mean? Have that problem of getting that, like, doing it all myself, like, just having those little responsibilities, because kind of it boosted me little by little by little, and then it just, like, and then from going back, and everyone's like, "Raw, Adrian, like, you're so much more confident, like, what's going on?" Like, and it's just like, you're talking a lot more, man. You never used to talk a lot, like, and I was like, "Bro, really? I never noticed that about myself."
That's a good
like,
question. When you went to Southampton, did you find that because of your similar interest? Well, did you find people with similar interests?
Yes.
And therefore, you made friends with them and stuff.
Yes.
Same like Naruto, right?
Yes.
So like you found people who love that as well.
Yes.
And they were from all over the place.
Yes.
Not just South London.
Yes.
So that was quite interesting, isn't it?
And I threw the crazy
Bolton.
I threw the crazy parties on the weekend, first year boy.
All over the place.
Everyone was like, come back to mine.
International
And I was
people.
there.
So he was lit.
He just got settled.
guys,
It's not about settling in. Yeah, you felt settled.
Double A, man.
And then, yeah.
double A.
Double A,
This
bro.
is it. And I suppose,
Right, nigga,
and I feel like as a person who used to move a bit mad at uni, like, I was a bit of a bit wild train. Like I feel I've come to calm down a bit more. Like,
I would have loved to meet you.
Yeah. Oh boy, I don't know if you like me.
But we just get away tomorrow, man.
This is it, man.
Get away to see the real age. You get me?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I want to just go to one more person now because I feel like we're running out of time and I don't want to go over the time because last time we nearly got mash up. You lot didn't, but I nearly got mash up. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's a me issue. You get
Oh,
me?
100%.
Do you get me? Yeah, see? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So who was it? In fact, yeah, I don't even know why.
Yeah.
I don't even ask. Yeah, so the person's gonna.
Yeah.
Cut-
I was about to point to my man still. I can't lie
Let's
to you.
cut it.
I'm ready the undercast.
We're only here to enjoy.
Yeah, man.
Let me have the final word from Mr. Carty.
Okay, this is Carty cast.
I'm gonna be here.
Carty cast. What are you talking about? Let's go. Yeah. So let's talk about. Just go briefly. Just give them how much you think you've changed and adapted, if you changed at all. Yeah.
Do you know what? It's for me. It's kind of come full circle. I think moving off the ends, there was a lot that like man had to struggle with when I was off the ends, like, and actually try and find me kind of thing. So now, I think, you know, you grow up, you learn to talk a certain way, you learn to carry yourself a certain way, but then people want to point those things out and make it out as if they're flaws in a way. Do you know what I mean? So I think going through all of that and at a point kind of thinking, right, is there something wrong with man? Like, is there something, like, I don't know, like, do I have to change?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to speak more formally? Or do I have to dress a certain way? Do I have to smile in every picture that people are taking of me? You know, all these little things that you think, I didn't learn that back home and it's not innate, so why do I need to change this now? And obviously, I was away from 17, 18 to like the beginning of COVID, so like to 25, 26. So that whole period and being in different places, I think I went on that journey of actually having to find man. And to be fair, the same me that left is the same me that exists now. It's just that all the experiences that I've had since or in that period, bruv, like man's been uni, I've worked, and to be fair, they kind of are like accomplishments, but to be honest with you, there are a lot of accomplishments out there that people don't get commended for. So they're a man that have grown up on the ends and they've helped so many youths out here, but they don't get paid for it, or they don't get the just desserts that they probably should get. So seeing that, you know, they've got their things that they've been doing, but yeah, they don't really get rewarded for that, which is probably another thing like in itself. But for me, I know that I've accomplished a lot now. So actually, I'll speak the way that I want to speak. You get me? I'll carry myself the way that I want to carry myself. You feel me? Yeah?
Absolutely.
I'll dress how I want to dress. Yeah. Bro, I'll always be me. And furthermore, check this. If I put my CV in front of you,
You're gonna pick you.
then what?
Yeah,
You get me?
exactly.
Then what?
What you say is what you get.
Then what?
Hey,
Yeah, man.
listen.
My guy, bro.
Listen, I'm so glad I didn't say that. Listen, I'm so glad I didn't say that. And see what you just said? That's everything I feel. Like, that's everything I feel all the time. When I'm in a professional environment,
I think we all feel
I don't have to
that.
change much.
We all feel the same way.
Where?
We all feel the
I'm
same
me.
way.
What?
We
Hey,
all feel
Carty,
the same way.
we're going to cut on that note because I don't even feel like we can say anything better than what he just said. So my people, make sure you leave your comments. Let us know how you felt about that discussion. Give us your opinions. Yeah. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you guys are sharing. And if you haven't subscribed, please, guys, it's just one click and it's free. So subscribe. Yeah. This has been the Hawks of Masters podcast. I've been Ashley Masters. That guy over there has been Jonathan Hawks. Adrian Albert, my brother, and our special guest.
Come on, man.
My brother Ryan Carty, aka Big Cartier.
Let's go, man.
What you talking about?
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Let's go.